Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok Covent Garden. Now this series is all about tofu. One of those things that perhaps some people don't like or say they don't like, but for me, it's actually not knowing how to cook with it or deal with it. We're working with Tofu, brilliant brand, great friends of ours, and this series is all about how to use tofu properly. So this week's Saturday special, guys, finishing off the Bao series and bringing in the new series, a Tofu Bao. So as with all our recent Bao videos, I'm going to start off with our Bao flour mix. I'm just going to take roughly a tablespoon of flour out for dusting later on. And then we're going to start to mix my warm water into my Bao flour mix. So this is the first, so the biggest bag in the School of Wok Bao Bun Kit. What we're looking for is a nice sort of Play-Doh consistency. And I'm making this first so it can sit and rest for about 10 minutes and give it time to rise. Most importantly, sort of add your water gradually, but you do need enough water in there to make a dough. So don't over sort of knead it until all of the water's in there. Once you get to this point, it's worth getting your hand in, and I use the palm of my hand just to sort of bring that together so you can feel how much moisture is in the dough. You'll definitely need a little bit more. So what you want is just enough water to pick up all the flour from the side of the bowl. Then you want to start kneading the dough on the surface. Depending on the day, you may need an extra couple of mils or a little bit less. That's the thing about dough, you just need to sort of work to that Play-Doh consistency. But you can see now I've got a nice empty bowl, no excess flour. So when you're kneading your dough, you want to sort of really get your back into it, push and roll, and stretch it out nicely using the palm of your hands. If you feel like the dough is a little too sticky, you can take a bit of that dusting flour just over your hands and then keep going. You want to do this for about sort of 3 to 5 minutes. So once you've got a nice smooth dough, then just shape it into a ball. And then you can set that aside and just let that rest under your bowl. Somewhere warm is always good. Just allow that yeast to sort of help that bao rise. So next up, your pickling salts and your pickled veg. You don't need a lot of vegetable here. It's just to add a bit of crunch to the actual bao. I've got cucumber. You can use whatever vegetables you want, really. Anything hard, cucumber, carrot, fennel, works really well. And you can either matchstick them or just slice your cucumber like so. And that's going to go with our pickling salts. It's basically a combination of salt, sugar and crystallized vinegar. It needs about 40 mils of water with that. Not a lot of water at all. Pickling salts in. That salt will really bring out a lot of the moisture of the actual cucumber. About 40 mils of water, not a lot of water at all. Give that a good mix through, probably better with a spoon. And over the next sort of 10-15 minutes, that salt will really bring out the moisture, and it's a quick pickle. So that was really easy. And dealing with the tofu is just as easy. Now, this brilliant brand, great friends of ours, Tofu, have the naked tofu, which is the original tofu, an organic, firm, fresh tofu. So you just want to pour any excess liquid out. The rest is easy. I'm going to marinate this with our sort of pepper and 5-spice dry rub. But we want it in good sized pieces for the bao fillings. I'm going to cut this in half first and then sort of 1/2 centimetre slices. Great alternative to your meat option. So your dry rub, it's going to go straight over the top. And just lightly sort of shake that around. You don't want to break the tofu, but it's quite firm actually, this tofu. It's not that delicate, so, but you still need to be a little bit careful with it, just to keep it in nice slices. And then the only thing I have to do there is just get my sauce or my glaze ready. It's my barbecue glaze. I'm going to mix that with some water, and that will finish the tofu off. Is that a good mix? And so in that time, slice my cucumber or any veg that's pickling away. My tofu is marinating nicely, and then my glaze is ready to make my bao shapes. My dough, unlike a dough that you would sort of have to buy all the separate ingredients, after 10-15 minutes, it won't look like it's risen much, but it should feel a lot softer. So the first thing we're going to do is roll it into a cylinder, and I'm going to take 6 pieces out of the dough. Sort of wrap your palm around it, feel how much is in one sort of handful or palmful, and then just pick 6 relatively equal pieces of dough out. Once you've done that, you want to roll them into nice smooth balls of dough. And if you've seen any of the other bao videos, then you know now that it's called pinchy, pinchy, twisty, twisty, this technique, where I just push in and pinch and twist it back together. And I've got a nice round ball of dough. If you struggle with that, guys, then just use the surface and push into it and make a round ball like that, or in your hands. Just don't be scared of your dough. Really push into it, make it as smooth as possible. Got 6 round balls of dough ready to go. The first one I'm going to roll out now into a nice oval shape. Once you've got your oval shape of dough, a little bit of oil over the top, and then fold that over. And as with all the hirata buns, you want those nice, juicy Angelina lips. So now that my lip-shaped bao have been made, the rest is really easy. Just pop them into your steam basket. Or if you don't have a steam basket, you can watch the alternative steaming method video on our YouTube channel as well. My water here in the wok is boiling away, so I want to get that onto a high heat and then pop that over the steam. 8 minutes, full steam. So whilst the bao is steaming, we've got plenty of time to start to cook our tofu. First thing, just a little bit of oil in the pan. I quite like frying my tofu in a frying pan if I want to sort of crisp it up a little, and then just finishing off in the pan with the glaze. Really simple. By that time, the baos will all be ready. So I'm on a medium to high heat. I want to get this sizzling away. Now, much like anything else, if you are sort of wanting to sear your tofu, you do need to make sure that each piece has enough space. Don't overcrowd your pan. So if you need to do it in a couple of batches, just take your time with it. So once you've crisped up one side, you do want to turn your pieces over and crisp up the other. Before I pour the glaze in, I want the pan to get really, really hot. So when I pour the glaze in, it will just sort of immediately start to soak into the tofu. And that makes all the difference when cooking with tofu. You've got to get that nice and hot pan ready for that sort of instant absorption of flavour. Looking good, crisp on both sides, ready for my glaze. My pan is smoking hot. 3, 2, 1. Pour that over the top so it bubbles up immediately. Whoa, smells delicious. So my tofu and the sauce is bubbled up nicely. It doesn't take long from there. I'm going to switch that off, just the right texture to sort of wrap around the tofu. So my bao have had 8 minutes to steam, and you can see they're nice and fluffy, got a great shape. So they're ready to serve up. Just go careful with them, obviously, on the steam. I'll dish out a couple. You can see how easily they just open up there. My tofu pieces, got that great glaze over the top of them. They've soaked in all that flavour. And your pickled cucumber. Straight over the top. Add a bit of crunch and some sourness to that. It's nice and simple. We've got our 2 BBQ Tofu Bao. In fact, whilst it's still hot, I'm going to go straight in before the guys can grab any. Slight sort of crisp edge of the tofu is great, but what's really nice is that within that sort of 30 seconds to a minute of the glaze going in, it's really punched that barbecue flavour into the tofu, and that makes all the difference. Guys, if you like this recipe and you want to learn more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.